Okay, this video is to document the poisoning experience of Reese Hogle, living in this apartment complex, 770 East on 3rd Avenue. Let's see, let's make sure you get to see this. Anyway, this is 770 3rd Avenue, and he's in apartment 2, which is downstairs. Just let you see, so you can certify these names or occupants. We'll take you down to the apartment. Okay. So this is a little hard to see, but you can see this is apartment number 2. Okay.
My friend's filming from the outside in.
Okay, Reese, this is your apartment?
Yeah, hi Tom. Apartment number 2, 770 3rd Avenue, Salt Lake City, 84103.
Okay. Now we take you to the problem. Of course, you see that the gas company's red tagged this unit. And we'll show you precisely a source of poisoning for the occupant, for Reese and anybody who's been in here. Okay, so you follow this. The furnace setting right here, and its exhaust pipe comes up along here, ties into the common, and if you'll notice, a rather shoddy installation with a cheap cutout, and then the insertion of the furnace exhaust with many openings around into the common, and you'll notice there's darkening around those openings. You see, you can actually stick your finger into the pipe on top, and of course the hot gases are going to be tending to come to the top of this pipe, and since this opening is on the top, there'd be easy exit for them into this space that the furnace and the water heater is installed in. The same thing is true with the water heater. See, back away, we can see the water heater. And of course, the chimney from the water heater comes up, ties into the common. Common is this line coming down from the roof. But you'll notice I can also stick my finger into a hole into that joint, and also notice the darkening around that pipe. See the darkening around the exterior of the common, where the fumes of the water heater and the furnace can exit and deposit carbon on that surface. And of course, the gas man that came and inspected indicated that this cap was loose here. He that clean out cap apparently was loose, and he did push it up in and tape it. I'm going to pull that down to see how much we can observe up that pipe, and also see how much carbon collected in that cap, just to see if it was in place at all. Anyway, this is a serious issue, because as the fumes come out into this space, of course, this furnace would be operating on many occasions. We're going to take this off. The blower chamber is right in here behind these panels, and the curiosity with these panels is they indicate that fumes from this space, this closet space where this chimney's been allowed to leak or spill gases into this area, these gases have also entered into the blower chamber of the furnace. And the reason I can say that is if you look here along the edges of this panel that covers this, and there is no rubber seal, so it's not a tight fit. You'll notice also the carbon collection along these edges as the air is drawn in from this space, this closet space where the furnace and the water heater set, including that open exhaust up there. These fumes are then drafted under the vacuum created by this squirrel cage blower. I'll show you that. Sorry, have to harvest lights. There's the blower for this furnace, and you'll even notice along these edges there's a lot of carbon deposited, as the fumes of the furnace, and that's where most of your carbon comes from, have been allowed to come into this space and be sucked into the breathing air of the apartment through these spaces between these panels. And see, these are not tightly fitting panels. And under most applications or installations, they really don't need to be, if everything else is done correctly. Having a hard time getting that one out. There we go. Okay. Oh, notice the carbon tracking on the bottom of this one as well. See right there along the edge, you'll see the indication of carbon coming in, which is a marker for the other gases created by the furnace, which would include carbon monoxide, some formaldehyde as well as nitrous oxide, some sulfur compounds depending on the quality of the natural gas being burned, all of them contributing to a toxic experienced by anybody breathing the air in this apartment. And there you go. You'll notice here that the gas company red tagged this unit, and we will allow you to see the report. It's rather curious. This all began with a friend being concerned about natural gas leaks. Of course, the natural gas leaks are trivial compared to this violation of common sense and possibly code by this non-professional installation of the flue pipes into the common. So for several years, Reese Hogle has been in this unit and has experienced serious health indications, which are all common to carbon monoxide poisoning. Also, the gas company inspector indicates that combustion air supply, that's that tube there, should be a larger pipe. It should be a 7-inch instead of a 6-inch. Now, in most conditions, that's not really a critical factor, but it's a contributing factor if you're wanting to relieve the vacuum created by combustion You know, you have to supply good fresh air to the combustion, and if you don't, then you will have spillage at even a greater rate coming out through these holes that we've shown you right here in these connections to the common stack from the water heater and the furnace. So through the winter, while this furnace has been running, he's been getting elevated levels of exhaust on when the conditions are such. But even all year round, when the water heater fires, as we show you up here on that top connection, the water heater has also been spilling, and of course the water heater produces about 50,000 BTUs worth of exhaust. And that happens, you know, as you have a demand for water to be heated. The furnace is running probably about 1,000 or 100 I say 5,000 BTUs for the water heater, or 50,000 BTU, and 100,000 probably for the furnace. And that's a lot of exhaust to be allowed to be spilled into an apartment unit, and for a person to be breathing for several winters. And like I say, even in the summer, the water heater would be contaminating the air of this house. However, it would be less prone to, since the squirrel cage blower of the furnace would not be operating at those times in the summer. But it is still a poisoning problem even in the summer. But in the winter, it's a serious issue, since you have a vacuum created by this squirrel cage blower fan sucking air out of this space, allowing fumes themselves to be drawn into this space and drawn into the breathing air of the entire apartment unit. So again, this is the furnace, and the problem is the shoddy workmanship on the connections to the common stack. And I am going to open that and take a look up that stack and make sure that it's a clear stack, and that may be also a problem. If you have a short stack or short jack on the roof and the snow covers that, then the fumes of the furnace and the water heater would have no choice but to spill out into this space and become part of the breathing air of the apartment. So anyway, this is the furnace setup, as you can see. This is the bedroom, bathroom adjacent, kitchen area, all one package, with air being supplied by this shoddily installed furnace and water heater. Okay, I'll take you back outside. Apartment number 2. There's a way in from the back. I may as well just take you out there and let you see it. So you know that this is precisely the apartment that we're talking about. Okay. Laundry. Storage. Back to apartment number 2. Back outside. $770. I'll take you down, make sure you know where you're at. so you can make sure we... Third Avenue, L Street, 750 East. Of course, the apartment is at 770 East on 3rd Avenue. And this would account for Reese's illness for the past several years. Well, in the depths of winter, he's been breathing the fumes of his own furnace and his water heater, and the water heater to some degree through the entire year. Take it back down. Okay, here we are. End of story.